So during 1942, a group called the Andros Army left Soviet-controlled Russia to Iran, followed by many Polish citizens that were driven out of their own country. During this time, an interesting occurrence happened. A Syrian brown bale was being sold off, and a Polish woman convinced a lieutenant in the military to pay and buy this bale. Now, this was World War II, so of course they had to go to war, but the bale followed with them. And it was a very malnourished at first, and was a small little thing, and it even could not eat or drink. So, as anyone would do, they poured condensed milk within a vodka bottle and bottle fed it that way until it could grow up to eventually eat food as it should. Now, they gave the bale the name Wojtek, and it was used in the military as a morale booster, really, with the squad that it was with, mostly wrestling, playing with it, and just being chilled up by a little playful bale. Now, Wojtek, of course, eventually grew up, and he spent most of his time with the squadron wrestling with them still and bonding to the point the bale was part of the company as much as the soldiers themselves. And he even served in the military as a private, because at one point they were needed to cross into Italy to continue the fight, but the barge there refused any sort of animal entering into Italy. So the way that they got past this was they promoted Wojtek into a private within the Polish army. He even got his little own paycheck, everything, paybook, and his own assigned rank. And this allowed him to be crossing over with the rest of his squad. Now, the name of a private was not just for that. He also served in battle, as in when they needed ammunition, they sent Wojtek over to get it, and he would come back with his own two paws holding up a case of ammo that would mostly be too heavy for one man, walking on 2 feet trying to deliver it to the people in need. And this was just a great morale booster, a great help, because a bale of his size could carry so much that a normal man could not. And this is the only case of a bale being part of the military, not as a pet, not used as per se in a fight, but an actual ranking member of the military. Now, eventually the war ended, of course, and Wojtek could not be taken home to Poland as it was in turmoil at that time. So they had to send the bale somewhere, and they sent it to the British Zoo. Here he lived a happy life until he died of old age, but it was not a life of sadness or loneliness, as his squad mates would occasionally show up at the zoo and even were reported to jump inside the cage and enclosure he was in and wrestle with him in old time's sake. So you could just be at the zoo visiting to see a bale, and all of a sudden there's a Polish man and a brown bale wrestling each other in an enclosure. Because they were very close to each other, and even after being separated for months or maybe even years, they still knew each other and had that bond. And they were even photos of them with Bale holding a vodka bottle of some sort, drinking it with all the other soldiers around him. Because through and through, the Bale, at the end of the war, he was not just a pet or a Bale, per se. He was part of the army, he was part of the squad, he was as much of a brother as anyone else who served with them. And this is a case of just a unique circumstance becoming something so much more than just a kind gesture of adopting a Bale. And instead, we have a Bale that's served in the military and has a story that most people themselves cannot even tell.